Cardinals with Rock and Manooch with Jimmy B on
playing this highlight.
Cardinals in LA territory. Murray on the move. Look out, in space. Kyler Murray, it's a sprint down the sidelines, and they won't catch him. 44 yards, that is always in the arsenal.
Courtesy of ESPN. Of course, that was Monday night against the Chargers, and that made the score 14-9. Kyler Murray in the 44-yard touchdown run. Well, joining us now, 9 seasons in the NFL, the Raiders, the Lions, and the Cardinals, a first-round pick from Michigan State. You can hear him during the broadcast for the Cardinals. Rob Fredericton joins us now on the Right Toyota Guest Line. Rob, what's going on, man? How are you?
Fellas, what's going on, man?
We've been trying to get you on. I mean, you have so much security, and we can't get through the gatekeeper, and it's like, what is it going to take? What is it going to take to get you on the air?
The gatekeeper is my wife, so yeah, you made it past this time.
Yeah,
I don't know how. But.
Yeah. So, how much different do you think that the game planning has changed now that there's a good chance that Tua is going to go for the Dolphins?
Well, I mean, yeah, Tua certainly is a game changer for the Dolphins because they really haven't been able to do much offensively. When you kind of look at them statistically, and their biggest weapons, Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane, they need Tua to really to move the ball around and to facilitate that offense. And without him, they've been kind of struggling. Now, defensively, Miami Dolphins have really done a nice job in terms of just keeping them in games. You look at them defensively, and they're number one in the league in terms of passing yards allowed per game. So about 154 yards allowed per game through the air. So they have a stout defense. And bringing Tua back, I'm not sure, what to expect from him, and just in terms of the rust and whether or not there'll need to be some of that, taken off, and whether or not that'll take some time. But I expect them to be an improved team with Tua back in the driver's seat.
Robbie, they've got home run hitters all over the place, and to your point, if Tua, in sync. Is he a guy that's going to take a quarter or two? But when you look at this group of, I'll call it 3 with Hill and Waddle and OBJ the third. Oh, by the way, Jonnu Smith is a pretty damn good tight end. Secondary-wise, very horizontal, but they can take it over the top. Will that change that much when Tua? It sounds like Tua is going to play to that point in reference to how dynamic they were before he got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Tua loves to spin the ball downfield. He loves, and Tyreek Hill loves that too. It's big plays have been a kind of a blueprint and the calling card for this Miami Dolphins team, and they've been missing that without Tua. You look at the spread of their receptions in terms of the offense. You mentioned it: Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, and running back Devon Achane. Those 4 guys are really the ones that are getting the bulk of the receptions. They're all kind of in the low 20s in terms of receptions. So I don't anticipate that to change. I just think that the play calling and the delivery of the ball in terms of just the route progression, I think that'll be different with Tua back at the helm.
Rob, with all the movement that they have, McDaniel and Shanahan and McVay, they've all kind of came from that same cloth. A lot of movement, a lot of eye candy, as we call it. But when he calls a game, let's say all these starters are in there, what kind of an offense is it? What's kind of the gist of what he's planning to do?
Yeah, I think you're right. Kind of coming from that coaching tree where it's deception, it's eye candy, as you said. It's trying to affect really that second and third layer of the defense in terms of the linebackers and the safeties, and really a lot of that is predicated on the success of the running game, and just to kind of get those guys to believe what they're seeing in front of them in terms of linemen pulling and motion and sweep action after the snap. That can affect linebackers and safeties, and when you do that, when you have success with that, then that's when you get those deep chunk plays behind that second layer.
You know, Rob, it's interesting because I was thinking back when I was playing and when you were playing. Did you see with these 3 or 4 teams you alluded to this kind of movement? And as that Mike backer or Mac backer, what is your key to not get caught up and watching all that go flying by you and try to stay focused on the key read?
You know, it's interesting playing linebacker in high school and even in college. I was always taught to kind of read the offensive lineman, and if you see a guy pulling, you go flying to where he's pulling to. Well, you know, I got a big awakening when I got to the NFL, and I realized that a lot of that is not true. You can't believe your eyes. You can't believe what those offensive linemen are doing, and so you almost as a linebacker and safety and even cornerbacks that are on the end of the line of scrimmage, they need to make sure they're reading their keys, which, you know, for me in the NFL, it was always, you know, feel the linemen, but really see what the running backs are doing. And you don't see a lot of 2-back sets anymore, but, you know, the fullback back when I played tended to take you to the ball a lot, but you really want to kind of feel the offensive line and see through to the running backs, because that's, you know, really where the action's going to be.
Rob Fredericton joining us here, does the pre and post for the Cardinals, former NFL player for 9 years, first-round pick, Michigan State. A game where you play on a Monday night, Rob, and then you got to go to Miami and a 3-hour time difference on a short week. As a former player, do you recall if that is an issue or not, or it's more of us media types that are talking about that stuff, making it a deal?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an inconvenience, right? And you don't have that extra day to heal. And I think from a physical standpoint, that's the biggest issue, is just having that extra day for your body to heal and get right. And then you add into it across the country travel, and air travel can take a lot out of your body as well. So there's probably something to it, but then again, you know, if the mind has the unbelievable ability to override what you may be feeling physically, and so if the Cardinals are dialed in, you know, like they were Monday night, if they're dialed in, and if that defense of the Arizona Cardinals, man, did they show up on Monday night? If that defense shows up down in Miami, you know, the Cardinals really, I like their chances.
And with all the injuries, and now that Dennis Gardeck is out for the year, what do they need to do? When you say they showed up, define to our listener what exactly they were doing to pretty much shut down the run of the Chargers. LA Chargers, they shut the run down.
Yeah. You know, Jim Harbaugh coming into this season, you knew what he was going to do. Everywhere he's been, kind of his footprint has always been run the ball, and we're gonna go old school. You know, we'll get multiple tight ends in there and multiple running backs, and we're gonna pound the football, do some play action pass off of that. But I mean, what the Arizona Cardinals, you know, they've been hurting all year long in terms of the front seven, in terms of stopping the run. And for the Cardinals against the LA Chargers, who have been running the ball exceptionally, to hold them to 59 yards rushing, I mean, that right there is the football game. Yeah, they gave up a lot of yards in the passing game, but you know, when it got down into the red zone, they bowed up, and they didn't allow the Chargers to get into the end zone. 5 field goals. I mean, you hold a team to 5 field goals, you better be winning that game.
You have any problem with Kyler leading the league in 9 yards per carry? Is that all right? Or you'd like to see him run, or would you like to maybe kind of scale back a little bit?
Hey, you know, when the play breaks down, when the pocket, when he senses some pressure in the pocket, and he feels like he needs to move out of there, I got no problem with him tucking it and running it.
Yeah.
As gifted as he is. And the one thing about Kyler, he's not like you see Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders. He takes a lot of hits, but Kyler, I mean, his biggest asset, I think, is self-preservation. He understands when to get out of bounds. He understands when to get down. And because he's no good to this team if he's over there sitting on the bench with an injury. So I love it, what it does for this team and what it does for this offense when Kyler can move the chains and have those dynamic plays. Hey,
Rob, we've got about a minute here. You going to school there in East Lansing and being a former Detroit Lion and seeing the transformation that Dan Campbell has had with the Lions as a head coach and seeing all the moves. How big is this for the downtrodden Lions fans for many, many years?
What's great about the Lions fans is when I played there, we were not good. And the Lions weren't good for a long time. But that Silverdome, when I played there at Ford Field now, it was always packed. And the Lion fans, they show up. And they've always been very loyal to that team. And now they're beginning to see some fruits of all that, the labor that they've had. So it's fun to watch. It's good to see Dan. How can you not be a fan of what Dan Campbell has done there and what he continues to do? It's just it's a really good story, and they're a really good football team.
Rob, thanks for a few minutes this afternoon. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hey, you got it, guys.
That's
Don't be strangers now. The gatekeeper will let you in.
Thanks. Good stuff. That's Rob Fredericton, of course, first-round pick from Michigan State, Raider. And then, of course, Detroit Lions, as you just mentioned, Manuch, and Cardinals, of course, does the pre and post for the Arizona Cardinals. Appreciate him jumping on with us here. Coming up, we will do Jack's Rewind.
Y'all ready to go, Jack?
I don't know. I thought we weren't doing it.
So you don't have one?
No, I have it. I just thought we were done at 3:30.
How much time do you need?
Well,
I mean, we could how this works. You do a show. I mean, like 3:15, we take a break.
Yeah, I just didn't know because you had a lot of reads at the end for our sponsors.
Yeah.
So I don't want to.
He was thinking about us, Rock.
But if you're not ready, that's okay.
No, I am. I was told by Manuch we weren't doing it, so we didn't. I have the clips. Send them to Richie. I was told we weren't doing it.
Do you remember the email I gave you about the Jack's